I was asked a question about Auburn's swing games. I think there's 4 of them in 2026, and Auburn's got a shot in every single one of them.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Had a question asked by a member of the Everydayer Club, which you can go to lockedonauburn.supercast.com, get more information about joining the Everydayer Club. They asked me during within the exclusive Discord that you will get invited to as soon as you join. And PB Hoff, WDE, asked about the swing games, wanting more information about the swing games in 2026. And I think there's 4 of them. Hosting Florida, hosting Vandy, hosting LSU, and hosting Arkansas. 3 of those 4 games against first-year head coaches. The other is now against your newest permanent rival, the Vanderbilt Commodores. And there's questions on that one, obviously, because what does life look like for Vandy and Clark Lee post Diego Pavia? He's gone. Goodness gracious, has he tormented us for far too long? He is gone. And there's going to be a few places, and I've seen a few, just graphics on Instagram and all that, lumping a few more games into the swing games. And I just didn't do a few of these. I didn't throw Baylor in there because Auburn's over a touchdown favorite, and there's a chance that grows over the course of the season. I've seen people say going to Tennessee is one. And if the NCAA officially rules on Joey Aguilar and says, no, you are actually truly out of eligibility, I will say there are now 5 true swing games for Auburn, but I didn't do that. And I also think you could argue at Ole Miss. And I just think with the news of Trinidad coming back, that's going to be a pretty tough one. I don't think there's any way that Auburn would be favored in that game, barring injury or, something crazy happening. So, we'll see what happens with that. So once again, I've got the swing games: hosting Florida against first-year head coach John Sumrall, hosting Vandy, hosting LSU, and hosting Arkansas. Now, there's clearly a theme here outside of 3 of the 4 of them being against first-year head coaches in the conference. It's obvious. Auburn's at home in all of these. And while during the Harston and Freeze era, playing at Jordan-Hare lost a little bit of his luster, not due to the fans, but just the team not being able to win close games. Hopefully with the offense going, and if Alex Golesh can get Byron Brown and this new revamped offense, if they can get it humming at Jordan-Hare Stadium, I think, winning at Jordan-Hare will be a thing that we can get used to again, which we all hope. So let's go in chronological order here. I think Auburn hosting Florida is a big deal. They bring in Philo to lead this new era of Florida Gators football, following his offensive coordinator from Georgia Tech. And I think Florida is always going to have a talented roster. I do have questions about this quarterback decision. Not that he can't be good and fit a system and already be acclimated and know some of the verbiage of what they're going to try to do. I'm fine with all of that. My big question is, are they going to be ready this early in the season? Jake Crane came on the show and said that very thing, and I 100% agree with him. His first SEC road action at Jordan-Hare Stadium against Alex Golesh. Alex Golesh versus John Sumrall will be tied at the hip as long as they're both head coaches in the SEC, because of how this coaching carousel, this coaching cycle, how it played out. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But something that I'm excited to see is, okay, well, day one, I'm taking our quarterback over theirs. And that's going to be important. Sure, Philo's going to understand the scheme. Well, so is Auburn's entire offense, because they all came over from South Florida. there's going to be questions about, can folks make that transition? But you need to ask that question everywhere. Sure, the leap from Georgia Tech to Florida is much smaller than South Florida to Auburn. Not pushing back on that at all. At all. But I will say being a backup at Georgia Tech and taking the jump to a starter in the SEC versus being dominant offensively at South Florida and taking a jump to Auburn, I don't think those are that different. But we'll see. Maybe I'm booging a little bit. But I think Auburn has a shot in that one. And look, if they beat Florida, it opens up the entire schedule. If Auburn could find a way to start 3-0 hosting Vandy, which brings us to our next swing game, I think Auburn's going to have a better roster than Vandy. I think they have a better roster right now, but I also said that last year, and Diego Pavia was an X factor. Vandy really likes their 5-star freshman quarterback. He's expected to start. I don't know how you don't start him, and I think there's going to be some energy there, and I think he's going to be able to make plays, and I think he's going to be good, but he's not going to be Diego Pavia, a guy that can just totally shift the balance, the power balance of college football on his head. I think Auburn's got a great shot in this one. I think the days of Auburn being afraid of Vandy should be behind us, please. And I think Alex Golesh knows that. I think every Auburn fan knows that. And look, at their core, Vandy people know that as well. So of the 4 swing games, this is probably the one I feel second most confident about in favor of the Auburn Tigers. We'll get to which one I feel most confident about in just a moment. Right here on this quick bonus edition of Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. Skills, experience, location. They can do it all. And listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support Locked on Auburn by saying you heard about it right here on this show, Locked on Auburn. Need to hire? That's a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Mazda's moving the game forward for those who show there's more to the score than what's on the screen. I'll shout out to Hod Pettiford. Though the Auburn basketball team has not been getting the results they want, Hod Pettiford has been playing much better on the offensive side of the floor. He's wearing the headband to Hod, getting it going. Had a good outing, obviously, in the loss at Arkansas. Mazda puts the same passion into every model. Highlights make the real. What it took to get there is what makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. Thank you so much for making Locked on Auburn your first listen every single day. Once again, this question came from the exclusive Discord that you get access to when you sign up for the Everydayer Club. LockedOnAuburn.supercast.com is how you can get more information on that. You also, for you audio listeners and YouTube folks, you get access to an audio-only feed. So if you don't like distractions, that is also a route that you can absolutely go. All right, so we went over to the first 2 of the 4 swing games that I've thrown out there. Florida and Vandy, both at home. Let's look at 2 other home games. LSU and Arkansas. We'll get to LSU in a second because I think that's the toughest of the 4. Arkansas, last chronologically of the 4 games that we've mentioned. It'll be the week after a tough road trip to Ole Miss. But I think Auburn hosting Arkansas is certainly winnable. Now, these 2 coaches have played each other before, and he's actually gotten the better of Alex Golesh. And I think that's been a little under-discussed. Ryan Silverfield, when he was at Memphis, kind of got the better hand of Alex Golesh. So excited to see what exactly that looks like here. Now, at the lower level of competition, I think Memphis is an easier place to win at than South Florida. Now, I think Auburn is an easier place to win at than Arkansas. So will Alex Golesh have the opportunity to return the favor? Yes. I think he will. Excited to see exactly how that translates when they come to Jordan-Hare Stadium on November 7th. As far as the least likely, in my opinion, a lot of this is arbitrary as far as what's a trap game or what's a swing game and what's not. But hosting LSU is fascinating. I mean, obviously, LSU is going to be one of the more fascinating teams in all of college football. Lane Kiffin, the Portal King, questions about Sam Leavitt. Is his foot going to be okay? I do think there's a lot of assumptions that are being baked in when people are projecting Lane Kiffin, LSU, and Sam Leavitt. I think this game on October 24th is going to mean a ton to everyone involved. And I think this arguably will be the biggest home game for fans on this, with Georgia and Alabama being on the road. Florida will be big, sure. I think hosting LSU and just the Lane Kiffin attitude behind all of this is going to be the one that the fans are going to want the most. I think Jordan-Hare is going to be electric, and I can't wait to see what kind of oomph that gives this Auburn offense and defense when they host LSU on October 24th. My biggest question is Sam Leavitt in this. A lot of assumptions that he's just going to be okay, not going through spring, supposedly, or if he does, he won't be 100%. I've said this before. It really feels like the DJ Lagway situation. Different body part, different injury, sure. But I do wonder, like, being injured in spring is a big deal. I mean, we've seen that to some extent at Auburn with Jackson Arnold. Is that why Jackson Arnold struggled? No, but it's not a good sign. There's not a great track record of people missing spring and then just being great. So I'm curious to see how Sam Leavitt fits at LSU from a health standpoint, an ability standpoint, and then also, you know, what does he look like specifically on October 24th? That'll be super, super fun to see. So those are my 4 swing games to answer your question. Florida, Vandy, LSU, Arkansas, all at home. Auburn's got a chance on all of them. If you win those 4 games, you have a really good season ahead of you, because then it's like you got to assume, okay, Mississippi State falls into place, Samford falls into place. Excuse me. At Ole Miss, honestly, looks different. And then I've got Baylor and, you know, Southern Miss, obviously, there too. So, I mean, you've got a shot. You've got a shot in every game you play. If you can take care of those at Georgia, at Alabama, those will be difficult regardless. But those are my swing games. Would you have added more or taken any of these off the list? Genuinely curious. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know in the Everydayer Discord. Tag me in there. Love interacting with you guys. So please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.